Luxury cars are awesome, big, powerful and comfortable. However, they are well known for being extremely expensive. However, on today's list, I've got a list of very good luxury cars that you can pick up for less than £10,000. The S-Class is basically a poor man's Maybach. This car was a pioneer and was used as a test mule by Mercedes for new technologies that they were developing. For instance, this one features night vision, which highlights any animals and pedestrians that you can't see. It also features a special braking system, which allows you to stop before any accidents or collisions, so this car is incredibly safe. However, it is a bit expensive to insure, especially with the larger engines, and for £10,000 the one you want is the V8, which has nearly 400 horsepower. 10 grand will get you a well-equipped model with low miles. For those of you who are into retro BMWs, you might want to consider the E38 7 Series. This car featured the V12 from the McLaren F1, and for £10,000 you might actually find one. However, you're probably going to end up getting a 740i, which is still a really good car. It's not only luxurious, but it's also got a very powerful engine, nearly 300 horsepower, which actually is pretty respectable. This thing can do 155 miles an hour, it's rear wheel drive, and as you can see from this video, looks great on bags. This thing is a very cool car and a very cool choice. V12s can be had for under 10 grand, but the 740 is your best bet. Maybe you want to sound like a Lamborghini, in which case, get this. This Audi S8 is very understated. In fact, it's probably the most understated car on the list, or one of the most understated cars anyway. This car features the 5.2 litre V10 from the Lamborghini Gallardo, producing 450 horsepower, making it more powerful than the Mercedes or the BMW, and this thing sounds insane when you put an exhaust on it. This car is super cool, and I think it's great if you don't really want to get yourself noticed, but you still want to look pretty rich. Aren't many low mileage examples, but this is still a good car. Maybe your favourite ice cream is vanilla. Maybe you started your driving career in a Volkswagen Polo, in which case you probably don't have any imagination and you probably want this, a Range Rover. Now this is the most modern one you're going to get for less than £10,000, and it's not that reliable. I mean, in terms of engines, the V8's not great, but the best engine is actually the turbo diesel straight 6 from BMW, which is actually a pretty good engine. And this car is a pretty obvious choice, but I mean, still, if you want to look rich, this might be your best bet. A P38 with very low miles can be found for less than 10 grand, and a more modern car can also be found for less than 10 grand. The Jaguar XJR is basically a sedate house cat when you want it to be. However, if you put your foot down, you unleash the 400 horsepower supercharged V8, and this thing becomes a tiger. This is also a very luxurious car, very comfortable, very nice leather, lots of wood, but it is a Jag, so it's not going to be that reliable, but still, this thing is going to appreciate in value. These supercharged Jags are on the rise as we speak, so if you buy this, this might actually be a luxury car that's a good investment. Trust me, you will not regret it. It starts at 4 grand, so there is plenty of options for less than 10 grand. And back to Germany we go. For Volkswagen's entry. Yes, Volkswagen made a luxury car. Back in the day, they decided to produce a £60,000 large saloon car. Why? I don't know, but still, this thing is a very, very good car, and it features a very cool engine, the TDI V10 used in the Touareg. This car produces 309 horsepower and has enough torque to pull a house down. This thing is a pretty cool car, very understated again, but still cool. Being such an obscure car, there are loads of examples under 10 grand. Yes, we've got a Bentley, the Turbo R. The Turbo R was basically a sporty version of the Bentley's 8. Yeah, but that wasn't a very good car at all. But this was better. This really could compete with its German rivals, and sure, it looks a bit dated, but still, this Bentley is very, very cool. And the RT versions are particularly sought after, but are still out of budget. This car is not going to be very reliable, but if you keep it running, this is going to be brilliant. These start at 7 grand, so an example for 10 grand will be in very good condition. We even have a Rolls Royce on the list. This is the cheapest Rolls Royce that you could buy, the Silver Spirit. This was the typical 90s, 80s Rolls Royce, and it's pitifully slow. Its 6.75 litre V8 produces a whopping 200 horsepower. Really, Rolls Royce? What were you thinking? But it doesn't matter. You still get the Spirit of Ecstasy on the bonnet, you still get loads of leather. It's not going to be that reliable. It's actually the same engine as the Bentley, but not a bad car. These old rollers can start from £5,000, so 10 grand will be very good. Now, time for an Italian entry. I can see people rubbing their hands together with glee. The Maserati Quattroporte. This thing is a 4-door Ferrari. Yes, it's got a Ferrari V8 under the bonnet that sings like a songbird. This thing is beautiful. I love these Maseratis. They are a fantastic buy, and if you look after them and keep them running, they are awesome cars. They handle well, they've got great gearboxes, and they sound insane. These Maseratis with the Ferrari V8 can be found for very, very cheap. This LS600H is the hybrid on the list. This car is for the JDM lovers. This car is the 4th generation of Lexus LS, and this thing was designed to compete with the Toyota Century. Now, this car has loads of tech. In fact, it makes the Mercedes look old-fashioned. It's also one of the most modern cars on the list. This car has self-parking. In fact, it was one of the first cars to have self-parking. This thing is actually very cool, and the fact that it's a hybrid with a 5-litre V8 is just ridiculous. This is the cheapest car on the list, with examples starting for as little as 3 grand. What are you picking? Are you going British? Are you going German? Or are you going to take the reliable Japanese choice? It doesn't matter, because either way, everyone who knows you is going to think you are rich. So, that is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more in the future. Until next time, goodbye.